Hey guys, it's Simeon. This is Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 30th of May, 2021 to talk about everything that went down tonight at AEW Double or Nothing. I thought as a whole, it was a good show. It had its ups, it had its downs. That's 100% for sure. But as a whole, the show was good. I'm going to say right now, I didn't like the main event. I didn't like Stadium Stampede. I was bored throughout all of it, to be 100% honest. And we'll get to that once we talk about it. Disclaimer, though, I'm not going to be reviewing the Casino Battle Royale or, unfortunately, the Cody Anthony Ogogo matches because I didn't see those matches. My internet went out halfway through the Casino Battle Royale. Like, the first group came out, second group came out, and then there was like, I don't know, 30 seconds or less before the third group was going to come out, and my internet went down. And I didn't get it back up till Lance Archer was coming out to the ring for the TNT title match. So unfortunately, this will not be a complete review because there will not be a review of the Battle Royal since I didn't see the whole match. And there will not be a review portion for the Cody Ogogo match because I didn't see that match at all. I was told, hey, you didn't miss nothing with the Cody Ogogo match. I do know and whatnot that Lio Rush was the special unannounced competitor in the, what's it called? Casino Battle Royale. And I love that. I really, really, really like Lio Rush. I think he's a great athlete. And he works everywhere right now. I think I've seen him everywhere but Impact now in 2021. He's doing a bunch of GCW shows, New Japan Strong, MLW. I don't know if he's done Ring of Honor. Let me look that up really fast. Lio Rush. I want to say he might have, but I can't. I'll confirm it here in a second. Lio Rush matches. GCW, New Japan Strong, MLW Fusion, GCW, MLW Fusion. UWN Prime Time, which was last year. So he didn't work ROH. So I've seen him pop up on all major. Between 2020 and 2021, Lio Rush has worked WWE, AEW, GCW, AAA, New Japan, UWN Prime Time, which was kind of NWA last year, MCW. So, yeah, Lio Rush getting around. But Fonzie says he has worked for Ring of Honor. Well, according to his cage match profile, he is not. According to his cage match profile, unless he worked but didn't work, unless he worked a Ring of Honor show but didn't actually have a match, nothing's listed on his cage match. You go to cagematch.net. And then type in the wrestler's name and click matches, it will tell you all of their matches, and he has nothing from Ring of Honor. So unless Lio Rush worked Ring of Honor but not matches, then he's worked Ring of Honor. But he hasn't had a match for Ring of Honor. It looks like, at least according to the cage match, his cage match profile. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you are watching, excuse me. Well, NMD, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about since leaving WWE. He's worked a bunch of different places. Fonzie, are you talking about since he left WWE? I know he worked Ring of Honor before WWE. Yeah, and his cage match doesn't have it. I'll look it up. 2016. Old match. Let's see. Yeah, Fonzie. I wasn't talking about before WWE. I was talking about all the different companies he worked since leaving, getting released from WWE last year. So that's what I'm talking about, Fonzie. I literally said 2020, 2021. But with that, if you are watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways, either by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can subscribe to the channel one of two different ways. You could be like Rosario did recently and subscribe with a tier 1 subscription, or you can subscribe for free with Amazon Prime if you already pay for Amazon Prime. That gives you Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you one free subscription to any Twitch channel that you would want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to us right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. On the flip side, if you're watching on YouTube, you can help us out with a super chat or a super sticker donation in the live chat. You can subscribe to the channel as a channel member, hitting that join button down below. If you subscribe as a channel member, you get early access to news, early access to non-news videos, early access to exclusive news, podcasts, and so much more. And remember to directly support us at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. You can head over to patreon.com/PW Unlimited. Now, I'm going to say, man with 99 chins, Lio Rush was the worst surprise entrant? I don't think so. I actually really enjoyed it being Lio Rush because I think Lio Rush is one of the more talented guys, like pure talented pro wrestlers out right now who can go out. I think Lio Rush is somebody that can literally go out and work a good match with anyone. You throw him in there with anyone in any style, and he can go out there and have a good match with them. That's what I feel of Lio Rush. Just saying. But as far as the show does go, Serena Deeb had a 14-minute pre-show match with Riho with the NWA Women's World Championship on the line. I thought this match was really good. At one point, or early on, actually, they performed some chain wrestling, but neither wrestler could establish an advantage. Riho wanted to shake hands, but Deeb slapped her across the face. Riho returned the favor, and Deeb landed a couple uppercuts. Riho then avoided this and followed it up with a drop kick. She followed up the crossbody for a 2. Riho then went for a sunset flip, but Deeb countered and went for the Serenity Lock, forcing Riho to get to the ropes. Deeb caught a kick and turned it into a dragon screw. She beat Riho down with more uppercuts before focusing on attacking Riho's knee, that Serenity Lock. Deeb applied a guillotine choke on the ropes, establishing complete control of the match with a hanging neckbreaker for a 2. Deeb used an inverted gory special before perching Riho up on the top rope. She went for a superplex, but Riho fought it off and landed a diving foot stomp, inadvertently hurting her own knee in the process, actually. Riho followed this up with a forearm, including with a flurry of Tiger Feint kicks for a 2. At one point, the two ended up scrambling, with Deeb eventually hitting a double leg dragon screw and a stack powerbomb for a 2. Riho fought out of the Deeb talks and hit a rising knee and a dragon suplex. She followed this up with a diving foot stomp to Deeb's back. Deeb rolled through and hit a Meteora and locked in a single leg crab, but Riho made it to the ropes. Riho tried to fight off the attack, but Deeb hit yet another dragon screw. Riho fought out of the Deeb talks and locked on a Japanese clutch for a great near fall. Deeb then smashed Riho's leg repeatedly over and over, like she did with, it's the same thing she did with Red Velvet. She got tired of Red Velvet not tapping out, so she grabbed the leg and just kept bashing it into the mat before eventually locking in that Serenity Lock and getting the win. So Serena Deeb does successfully defend the title. As we move on to the main card, the show opened with Hangman Page versus Brian Cage, and in all actuality, good match. I liked the match itself. I would have flipped the first 2 matches. For the way this crowd reacted to Moxley and Kingston, I felt like that should have been what opens this main card. I felt like Moxley and Kingston coming out at the start of this show should have been what opened to this show, because fucking those 2 guys got the rock star treatment from this crowd. This crowd went ape shit bananas when Moxley and Kingston came out swinging them fucking shoes. Like, this crowd went just, they were unglued. They were unglued. But we did start it off with a 12-minute match between Hangman Page and Brian Cage. They beat the shit out of each other. I'm just going to say that right now. Taz was on commentary. Page did come out alone, and Page was unbelievably popular. He got a really, really, really good reaction from the crowd. Not a Moxley Kingston reaction, but not too far off, I would say. There's no feeling out process here. As soon as the bell rang, both men just went at it. Cage went for a suplex, and Page flipped out into a sliding lariat, followed by a springboard clothesline. Cage had the follow-up scouted, and Page turned it into a tope suicida. He went for a plancha, but Cage caught Page out of midair and tossed him into the ring post. Back in the ring, Cage beat Page down with some strikes and throws. He picked up Adam Page and curled him effortlessly. But Page turned that into a crucifix bomb for a 2. They exchanged clotheslines until Page clotheslined them both over the top rope to the floor. Page then landed a top rope Oihara moonsault from the top rope to the floor. They fought on the top rope for a little while as Page went for a Frankensteiner. Cage caught it and went for a powerbomb, but Page adjusted and hit a Frankensteiner for a near fall. Cage then landed a thrust kick and tried to bring Page into the ring the hard way. But Page escaped and hit a discus forearm for a 2. Cage fought out of a deadeye and hit a ripcord elbow. They had a counter exchange before Cage hit a one-arm neck breaker for a near fall. Very close near fall. Cage then hit another strike sequence and a throw that dropped Page over the top rope. Cage then suplexed Page over the ropes onto the ramp. He fought Page to the top rope with an avalanche F5, but Page kicked out. Looked like Cage was about to steal Page's buckshot lariat. He kind of fumbled it a little. Page had it scouted. And then what happened? Adam Page legit hits Brian Cage with an F5. An effortless looking F5 at that. Cage avoided a buckshot lariat here after Page got the 2 off the F5, went for the buckshot. It got avoided and countered into a German suplex, a powerbomb, and a buckle bomb. Page jackknifed Cage for a great near fall. Cage then came back with a discus lariat and a spinning Liger bomb for a close near fall. Ricky Starks and Hook then came out and distracted the referee. Stark passed the FTW Championship to Cage, but Cage tossed it out of the ring, not wanting to use it, arguing with Hook. Page then took advantage of this distraction with a buckshot lariat and picked up the victory, defeating Brian Cage. After the match, Cage and Starks got in each other's faces. Cage shoved Starks and walked off. So they're really going into Brian Cage going to leave Team Taz. Next up, we had the AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line. The Young Bucks against Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Don Callis joined commentary. The crowd loudly, like I said earlier, cheered for Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston, even saying Wild Thing. Bucks came out extra spray tanned. Looks like Nick Jackson even weirdly dyed his hair. They're just trying to be way too much extra. And speaking of extra, I felt like this match went a little too long. I was really into this match early. I was really into this match halfway through. But at about the 3/4 mark, I kind of was like, man, is this match ever going to end? It went 21 minutes. This match went 21 minutes. And I'm just looking. It wasn't the only match that felt long. I will say that for sure. Third longest match of the show, I believe. How long was the Stadium Stampede? Fourth longest match of the show. Stadium Stampede went 31 minutes. 31 and a half. But going forward, we had this tag team match. And I thought the tag team match was really, really good. Moxley and Kingston attacked the Bucks during their entrance, and all hell broke out. They paired off and brawled on the floor. Moxley moved to the stands and chugged a fan's beer. Pulled a Sandman move because he drank the beer, smashed it on his head, and then just rah! Brandon Cutler tried to spray cold spray on Nick Jackson when he was thrown into the barricade, so Moxley and Kingston killed him with a half and half clothesline combo. They call it the Violent Crown, according to commentary. The match was finally fully underway as Kingston beat down Nick with some knees. They double teamed Nick and Kingston in an STO for a 2. Nick fought out of some Kobashi chops with a thumb to the eye, allowing the Bucks to take advantage with a series of double teams on Kingston. The Bucks showboated until Kingston flapjacked Nick over the top rope. Matt tagged in and kicked out Kingston's leg before sending Moxley into the barricade on the floor. Matt referenced Super Dragon with the fake babyface hot tag, complete with repeated clotheslines and a 10 count of the ring hand. Right hand, I mean. Moxley tripped Matt up and clotheslined him onto the floor. Nick tagged in, but Kingston caught him and hit an exploder, allowing him to tag in Moxley. Moxley exploded out with a shotgun dropkick before flattening the Bucks with release suplexes. A sit-out pile driver was next for a 2. As Matt kicked out, Moxley locked on a bulldog choke, but Nick broke it up. Moxley hit a double DDT on both Bucks. Carl Anderson walked out as Doc Gallows tried to surprise Kingston, but Kingston took him out with a running splash. Frankie Kazarian would then run out and take out Carl Anderson. The two would brawl to the back. With the official distracted, Matt Jackson would spray the cold spray in Moxley's eye and then hit him over the head with a can. Moxley was busted open here, began to bleed. The Young Bucks then killed Moxley with the Indy Taker on the ramp. They decided to retain. They decided they can retain by count out, but Moxley rolled back into the ring in time. About this time, I go, this match has got to end soon. I mean, we had all the everyone get involved stuff. It's got to be leading to the finish. The Bucks cheated. They used the cold spray, and it just kept on fucking going. Matt worked over Moxley's cut forehead before tagging in Nick, who hit a draping senton for a 2. The Bucks beat down Moxley with repeated kicks and tags in and out, isolating him in their side of the ring. The Bucks went for the Shield Powerbomb, literally. Matt did the hoo-ah as Nick was going to lift up Moxley to put him on his shoulders. Moxley reversed it, countered it. Moxley fought out and crushed Nick with a backdrop suplex, allowing him to tag in Eddie Kingston. Kingston dropped both Bucks with right hands before a belly-to-belly on Nick and a Toesk Enziguri DDT-ish move on Matt. He locked on the Kawada stretch plum and shrugged off Nick's attempt to break it up. We got some machine gun chops, but Nick landed a thrust kick to Kingston's knee. The Bucks regained control with an assisted sliced bread for a 2. Nick went for a senton bomb, but Kingston got his knee up and tagged in Moxley, who immediately ran into stereo super kicks. He went for the more bang for your buck, but Moxley fought out and locked on a rear naked choke. Nick rolled out of the choke and Matt landed a 450 splash for a 2. Kingston then pulled Nick off the apron on an attempted Meltzer driver. Nick tripped up Moxley on a violent crown attempt. Moxley intercepted the Meltzer driver again and used one of the Bucks' Dior Jordans as a distraction, allowing he and Kingston to hit a shoe-assisted Doomsday device for a very close near fall before Nick Jackson broke it up. Moxley caught a super kick, but Nick flipped out of a paradigm shift and locked on a sharpshooter. After a long fight, Kingston broke it up, and we got a parade of big moves here, including a backdrop driver. Moxley hit a paradigm shift on Nick, and Matt broke up the pin. Nick kicked out Kingston's leg again, but Moxley locked on a sleeper. Matt came in, and the Bucks crushed Moxley with super kicks, but Moxley came back with the double clothesline. The numbers advantage were in the Bucks' favor, as the Bucks hit repeated super kicks on Moxley, but he kicked out at 1. Moxley fired up with blood on his face, which was already dried up by this time. He didn't bleed that much, but he got the wild eyes and was met with double super kicks. Kingston tried to get involved, but the Bucks kicked his leg out yet again and then super kicked him. The Bucks hit the BTE trigger, but Moxley shrugged it off. And then hit 4 more BTE triggers, each one looking less and less impactful before, well, they were able to pin Jon Moxley. And there we go. So with that, the Young Bucks do pick up the victory tonight, retaining the championships. Again, didn't see basically half of the Casino Battle Royale, I believe. But we did know that there were 2 injuries going into this match. The Blade could not compete, and he was replaced by Serpentico. And QT Marshall was injured. Don't know what his injury is. And he was replaced by Aaron Solo. Again, don't know what happened to the Blade or QT. Paul White was on commentary. Like I stated, Jungle Boy did end up winning. Lio Rush was the, the Joker, as they call it, number 21. And we don't know if Lio Rush is actually signed with AEW or if this was just like a one-shot coming in for the Battle Royal. But nonetheless, I think Lio Rush coming in here was a great surprise, something that nobody expected, and that's what you needed to do. Whether you needed it to be a massive name like a Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, or somebody that nobody would have expected, like a Lio Rush. But again, didn't see the match, so I can't review it. Also, going forward, we had Cody versus Anthony Ogogo. Match went about 11 minutes, and Cody picked up the victory. I was told Cody won clean right in the middle of the ring. My buddy gave me a recap of the end. I'll read that here. He said, towards the end, Cody placed Ogogo on the top rope, but Ogogo landed a right hand. He sent Cody to the mat, and Ogogo went back to the top rope and had a picture-perfect frog splash for a 2. Cody came back with a drop kick and locked on a figure 4. Ogogo tried to punch out with a left jab after getting a 2 count and allowing Ogogo to reverse the pressure. A beaten down Cody surprised Ogogo by going for the crossroads, but Ogogo landed another body shot. He went for a cover, and Cody was under the ropes, so it didn't count. A shoulder hung neck breaker got a 2. Ogogo then went for what they call the governor's hammer, but Cody turned it into a vertebreaker and picked up the win. Pinning Anthony Ogogo clean in the middle of the ring. No bullshit. Probably there was bullshit early, but halfway through and towards the end of this match, no bullshit. Somebody goes, well, Cody Rhodes has jumped the shark. He's now Hulk Hogan. Everyone's got to put over Cody. You're made to look really, really big going into the match, but you got no choice but to lose Cody Rhodes because he ain't going to lose. At least that's what my buddy said. My buddy goes, he's like, man, Cody's is the new Hulk Hogan. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, guy lets them put his opponent over big, but then won't take the L. I'm like, yeah, I can see that. So going forward, this is when my internet resurfaced. Lance Archer was coming out, and I go, I got the show. I'm back on live. Awesome possum. Match went about 10 minutes, and it was all right. Archer attacked before the bell with a flying crossbody. They collided with clotheslines, but Archer downed Miro with a boot. Archer walked the ropes and hit a moonsault, but Miro kicked out a 1 and rolled to the floor. Archer chokeslammed Miro through a table at ringside. Miro then rolled to the floor, and Archer tried to pounce him, but Miro caught the attack and sent him over the barricade into the fans in the front row. I got the burps and the hiccups all at once. Back in the ring, Miro countered a beatdown until Archer exploded with a running crossbody. Miro came back with a spinning heel kick. He then used Archer's hair to land ripcord mid kicks until Archer caught one and hit a ripcord black hole slam for a 2. I wrote it as lack hole slam by accident. Anyways, again, just like the Bianca Belair thing, not a fan of using the hair as a weapon-ish kind of deal. I get it. It's part of you. For Archer, at least. But, whatever. Where was I? Archer climbed the top rope and went for another moonsault, but Miro avoided it and hit a Samoan drop for a 2. Miro hyped himself up in the corner, but Jake Roberts came out with his bag, implying that maybe, just maybe, Fool got a snake. Miro effortlessly beat Roberts down and tossed the bag up the ramp. He went to continue the attack on Roberts, which was cut off with a chokeslam by Archer. Archer perched Miro on the top rope. They exchanged some slaps here. Miro fought out of a blackout and kicked out Archer's leg. Archer surprised Miro with a pounce. Upon re-entering the ring, Miro kicked the rope. So basically it gave Archer a low blow, but he ain't in trouble for the low blow. He then hit a suplex and a thrust kick. Miro then locked on the game over, laid in some knee strikes to Archer's spine, locked on the game over as well. Lance Archer did not tap. He passed out, and the referee called for the match to end. Matthew 415 says, I was at Double or Nothing live. Awesome. Would love to get some insight on the actual crowd, because I do have a question. The first two matches of the main card. We had, first three matches, actually, of the main card. Hangman Page Cage, Young Bucks, so the tag title match, and from what I saw, the Battle Royal. Sounded like the crowd was really, really hot. But once I got back into the show, once I got my internet back and I saw the TNT title match, I felt the TNT title match, the women's title match, and Darby Sting, the crowd kind of fell a little. Am I right to assume that, Matthew? That for those three matches or so, the crowd kind of like had burnt themselves out and they weren't cheering as loud? Or was it that it came off on TV like that? Let me know in the YouTube chat. Give me 1 second, guys. Thank you, Josh, for the videos you sent. I do have them. Okay, so I wasn't completely wrong. Matthew said, crowd was loud, but it started dying off a little. Everyone was getting exhausted. Yeah, that's how it seemed on TV, and then it started picking up a few minutes. At least it felt like in the broadcast that once the world title match started and the action started really popping off in that match, the crowd was getting back into things. Where was I? Women's title match. Match went 18 minutes. Another match I thought went too long. Towards the end, the match itself kind of started feeling redundant. And yes, Britt Baker is a heel, but they didn't need to do the whole super heel, have my manager distract the ref so I can use the belt and this and that. I honestly think this finish cheapened Britt Baker's title win. Yes, she's a heel, so it makes sense. But because everyone knew Baker was winning this match, and really Britt Baker is the top woman in all Elite Wrestling, her using the belt and the curb stomp and all that to win, I felt cheapened her win. I don't think it was needed one bit, and I get it. It was for them to say, well, Sheeta lost because she had the belt smashed in her face. If that didn't happen, she may not have lost. I get that. But that's like WWE booking. You have to have an excuse for why the champion lost their title. Trust me, we'll talk about booking like WWE in the other world title match as well. So this match I didn't think was all that great. Barely good, if that. They exchanged strikes right away, and Sheeta laid in some knees, but Baker immediately went for the lockjaw. Sheeta came back with the Tamashi attempt, but Baker rolled out of the way. Cradle exchange got a series of 2 counts here. Baker avoided a drop kick and rolled out of the ring. She regrouped with Rebel. She baited Sheeta into following her and surprised Sheeta with a kick upon re-entry. Baker tried to maintain control, but Sheeta did not let that happen, and she sent Baker to the floor where Baker tossed Sheeta into the barricade. Sheeta set up a chair and went to hit her rising knee before turning around and hit a crossbody on both Baker and Rebel. Baker regained control, though, with a kick and brought Sheeta back into the ring. Back in the ring, Baker hit a curb stomp, put the glove on for the lockjaw, but Sheeta rolled out of the way. Baker hit a butterfly suplex for a 2. Sheeta avoided a corner attack and was sent face first into the corner with a facebuster for a 2. Sheeta shrugged it off with some right hands and came back with a Thez press. She landed repeated knee strikes into the corner before a vertical suplex got a 2. A knee strike to the back of Baker's head got a 2. Again, right here, too many near falls. Way too many big John Cena match near falls where it's like the last 5 minutes of the match is nothing but near falls and pin attempts. And it's like, yeah, too many. Way too many. Sheeta avoided a corner attack. Oh, no, I already read that. They traded strikes and kicks until Baker hit a fisherman neck breaker for a 2. Sheeta avoided a curb stop and went for the stretch muffler, but Baker made it to the ropes to break the hold. Baker came back with a thrust kick and a sling blade. Sling blade looked very sloppy. She hit the air raid crash, followed this with another 2. She fought to reapply the lockjaw, but Sheeta fought out. She fought to the ropes, so Baker transitioned into a crossface. Sheeta rolled through, and Baker was forced to relinquish the hold. Sheeta hit a hard German suplex and a running elbow for a 2. They fought on the top rope where Baker escaped momentarily. Baker then brought Sheeta into the ring the hard way with a suplex for a 2. Baker came back and rolled with a roll-up for a 2, but Sheeta kicked out and locked on the stretch muffler. Rebel distracted Sheeta by inadvertently whacking Baker with a crutch for a 2. Sheeta followed this up with Falcon Arrow for a good near fall before the referee tried to eject Reba. Baker used this distraction to hit Sheeta with the belt and then curb stomped Sheeta face first onto the belt for a close near fall. Baker then went for the lockjaw, but Sheeta rolled Baker up to escape. Sheeta came back with a jumping knee and hit the Tamashi for yet another near fall. Baker then rolled Sheeta up with a crucifix for the 2 count. For a 2, before finally locking on the lockjaw and Sheeta tapping out to pick up the win. So with that, crowd erupts for the heel becoming the new champion. Everybody expected it. I mean, if Britt Baker didn't win the title here, then that would have been the biggest fumble AEW has done in a very long time. Britt Baker is the most popular female in the company. She is the best wrestler in the company. She's the best performer in the company as far as the women's side do go. And honestly, she's probably one of the top 8, if not, I would say performer-wise, in ring and on the mic, she's one of the best they have. As far as a personality goes, though, I would say like the only personality's better than Britt Baker in AEW right now, as far as like the way the crowd reacts and all that, getting good reactions the way you're supposed to as a heel, and just for your character. The only one's really better, Kenny Omega, Darby Allin, and then Britt maybe third as far as like overall best just wrestlers in the company as far as being able to get reactions and stuff. You maybe fourth behind Hangman Page because Hangman always gets a good reaction. But Baker's right there, top 5 for sure, if not top 3, as far as reactions, good or bad. After the match, Tony Schiavone left commentary to give Britt Baker a big hug as he whispered something into her ear at the top of the ramp before she walked to the back. And I've been told Tony Schiavone's been a very big mentor of Britt Baker. Yes, they've done all this stuff on TV, but because of that, the two have actually grown to be close friends, and Tony is kind of like a mentor to Britt. So that was a great moment to see, even though she is a heel, the whole hug and embrace by Tony Schiavone and whatnot. So as we move forward, we had a 15-minute match. Darby Allin and Sting took on Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. I had people message me and go, well, Sting's not really injured? So he faked the injury to get out of WWE? I'm like, no, he was hurt, but time heals all wounds for the most part. And this match, brawl ensues before the match starts. They pair off, Darby and Ethan. Scorpio and Sting. And at one point, Sting hits a fucking crossbody off the stage to the floor on Sky and Paige. So I thought in this match, though, overall, Sting held his own. They kept pushing really hard. Sting's first live match in front of a crowd in almost 6 years, or right at 6 years. So cool. Allen took out Paige with a tope suicida before the bell. Like he did his whole, I'm going to run as fast as I can and just throw my body through the ropes. And wherever I land, and I hope I hit my guy hard. And that's what he did. Sting took a suplex on the ramp, but Sting popped right back up. No soul to the Scorpio Sky, pandered to the crowd. This is when Sting then did the diving crossbody off the ramp to both guys at ringside. The bell finally rang, and the match started with Scorpio Sky and Darby Allin. Allin and Sting worked together as Sting used Allin as a battering ram before Sting hit a running bulldog. They isolated Sky with frequent tags until Allin locked on a Fujiwara armbar. He went for a rope walk arm drag. But Paige swept out Allen's leg, allowing Sky and Paige to take control. Sky and Paige beat down Allin, tossing him all over the place. They targeted Allen's midsection and taunted Sting. Allin finally escaped the double team and tagged in Sting, but the official didn't see the tag, not allowing it to happen. Paige press slammed Darby right onto Allen's family at ringside. In an insane looking spot. After a long recovery, Paige went for the ego's edge, but Allin locked on a sleeper and hit the over-the-top stunner. This allowed him to reach Sting for the tag. Sting ran wild with Sky with clotheslines for hitting a stinger splash on both opponents. He dispatched Sky and hit a code red on Paige for a 2. We then got loud, "You still got it" chants for Sting. Allin went to the top rope, but Sky took him down, and Paige attacked Sting from behind. Paige then hit an inverted ego's edge on Allin onto Sting. But Allin fought out of this and followed it up. Sting locked on the Scorpion Deathlock. Sting was a legal man, so Allin applied the Fujiwara armbar. If you guys are having issues, it looks like the stream is running a little slow. Again, like I said, I had internet issues today, so I do apologize if the stream does buffer and lag. It should be running okay-ish, but again, I do apologize if the stream does have issues. Again, remember, I had internet issues. I couldn't watch part of the show. I'm going to lower my settings here. See if that helps. I lowered my settings to see if that helps. I'm having internet issues. Once again, daggum. Where were we? Allin, the Serpent Deathlock. Sting wasn't the legal man, so Allin applied a Fujiwara armbar. Guy entered the fray and slapped on the heel hook on Allin. Paige and Allin, the legal men, were the legal men, and the two locked in submissions. Sting and Sky tagged in and exchanged right hands until Sky tried to chop down Sting. Sting fired up, and Sky avoided the stinger splash. Sky went for the slingshot cutter, but Sting countered it and hit a Scorpion death drop to pick up the victory. Sting pinned Scorpio Sky. So I enjoyed the match. I thought Sting looked really good, and overall, it was a really fun match. Don Callis would come out to join commentary as we got our AEW World Heavyweight Championship match. Kenny Omega against Orange Cassidy and Pac. Match went 26 minutes. I felt this match should have went 18 to 20 because the last 7 minutes or so, too much. Just too much going on. And this match, towards the end, was booked like a goddamn WWE match. Just way too much bullshit. But like I said, I liked the majority of this match. Orange Cassidy looked like a fucking star. Best Orange Cassidy match I've ever seen. Pac looked amazing as well. Kenny always looks great. But the end, just way too much bullshit happens. So Pac went right after Omega early, and Omega escaped to the ropes. Omega surprised Orange with a running forearm as he and Pac faced off in the ring. Omega downed Pac with a shoulder block. Pac came back with a kip up and a bicycle kick. They both went for running crossbodies as Orange went to become the lone man standing in the ring. Orange went to put his hands in his pockets, but hit a Hurricane Run on both opponents. He followed it up with the Tope Suicida on Pac and a swinging DDT on Omega for a 2. Orange went for the Orange Punch, but Omega countered it, and Pac took Orange down with a Hurricane Rana, and an Acai moonsault from Pac followed. Pac climbed to the top and leveled Orange with a missile drop kick. He did the same to Omega before a diving drop kick. Omega then countered and hit a "You Can't Escape" on Pac, making sure to land a backstabber on Orange in the process. Back suplex to Pac only got a 1 count. Omega then laid in some chops on Pac, but Pac came back, leading to a forearm exchange. Omega booted Pac into the corner, but then got a cradle from Orange and surprised Omega with a 2. Omega cut Orange off with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. A second backbreaker from Omega got a 2. Omega tried to beat Orange down with some forearms to the back, but Pac pulled Orange to the floor, where Omega hit a baseball slide to both opponents. Omega then hit the Terminator dive on both opponents. Back in the ring, Orange countered a suplex into a stunner. Cradle exchange got multiple near falls until Pac came in with a 450 on both opponents. Omega crushed Pac with a Snapdragon suplex before doing 2 more to Orange. Omega called for the V trigger and hit 1 on Orange, but Pac avoided it and flattened Omega with a German. Omega used Orange to run interference as Pac hit a thrust kick on Orange, and Omega downed Pac with a lariat. Orange hit a V trigger. Omega hit a V trigger on Orange before looking for an Avalanche Dragon suplex. Orange powered out of it by putting his hands in his pockets. Basically, this was one of those, I can't believe they actually did this Orange Cassidy spots. Omega's going for the Dragon suplex off the top rope. And to avoid it, Orange Cassidy grabs his own pants so Omega can't hit the move. What? He didn't grab the ropes, grab the turnbuckle, grab something to hold him up there. He grabbed his own pants. Of course, Omega could have continued the move and followed through with it. That's one of those just over-the-top bullshit Orange Cassidy spots. Like, if someone's got their arms wrapped around you and you just grab your waist, basically, which is what Orange Cassidy did, your opponent can still throw you. But if you grab the ropes or wrap your arms around the turnbuckle post or something, then when your opponent goes to pull you, he's not going to be able to pull you because, well, he's not going to really pull you because you're going to be holding on. But if you're holding on to yourself, he can still throw you. Fuck that. Where was I? I lost my fucking spot. Damn, I really lost my spot. Jesus fucking Christ, I lost my spot. Big time. Oh shit, where was I? I read that. Avalanche Dragon suplex. Orange powered out by putting his hands in his pockets, blocking the suplex. Pac popped up and landed an avalanche release German on Omega. Orange then hit a dive with his hands in his pockets on Pac on the floor and kipped up and got into the ring. Omega booted Orange and hit a J driller for a 2. Pac went for a springboard, but Omega cut him off with the one-winged angel position. Pac tried to fight out of it, but Omega turned it into a German suplex. Omega then toyed with Orange and just basically hit him with a series of short knees. Orange put his hands up when Omega was trying to run in for a V trigger, and then put his hands in his pockets and collapsed in exhaustion. Omega tried to pin Orange Cassidy here, and Pac entered the fray, leading to a striking exchange. Orange came in with a Michinoku driver. Basically, Pac whipped Omega off the ropes. Orange pushed Pac out of the way, grabbed him like he was going to do like a power slam type deal, and then floated through with a Michinoku driver. Very smooth, great looking move here. Pac then hit Orange with a brainbuster and got a 2 off of it after this. Pac perched Orange on the top rope and went for a superplex, but Omega interrupted and put Pac in the electric chair. Omega then climbed to the top rope, looking to maybe do an avalanche one-winged angel, but Pac turned it into a sunset bomb. He then would hit an avalanche falcon arrow as well. As he did, Orange Cassidy ran in, threw Pac out of the ring, and tried to steal the pin and the victory, but Omega kicked out as 2 3/4, and the fans went bananas. Fans then started chanting, "That was 3, that was 3." But they played the replay. The ref's hand was at least that far when he pulled it because Omega kicked out. Jason, I never said I don't like Orange Cassidy. I don't get the gimmick. Like, I don't like the whole hands in the pockets, slow kicks thing. I will tell you right now, I think he's a fantastic performer. I think he's a very fantastic performer. But some of the stuff he does, especially in a world championship match, the unrealistic, goofy things don't need to be happening in a world championship match. Yes, Vegeta, I said that. I thought this was the best Orange Cassidy I've ever seen. He looked like a megastar. At this point that we're talking about right now, from the halfway mark till about 5 minutes to go and all the bullshit ensued. But there was a good almost 8 minutes where Orange Cassidy could have won this title, and this crowd would have fucking erupted and just lost their stuff. Like, it was the biggest world. Like, if there was this time in this match that Orange Cassidy was on such of a roll that he would have got a greatest world title win reaction, the way the fans were chanting for him and the way that he was just a house of fire. Where were we? Orange ran and tried to steal the pin, but Omega kicked out. Pac and Orange faced off in the center of the ring, with Pac incensed that Orange tried to steal the pin. He was yelling at him. Orange hit his weak kicks, only like 2 or 3, and Pac low blowed him. Referee looks at him and goes, "What was that all about?" And Pac tells the referee, "Disqualify me then." "Oh, wait, you can't." I loved that. Just blatant low blow right in front of the ref. The ref looks at him like, "What the hell was that?" And he goes, "What? You can't DQ me." Triple threat. No DQs. Pac then landed a Fosbury flop on Omega and then a black arrow on Orange. But Omega broke up the pin barely at the last second. Omega literally jumped from the floor up through the middle and bottom ropes to break this pin up. Omega avoided a black arrow and he set Pac up the one-winged angel, but Pac locked on the brutalizer. Orange Cassidy came in with an orange punch on Pac and a beach break on Omega for an awesome-looking near fall. Orange caught another low blow attempt from Pac and fought out of a powerbomb, landing the orange punch on both opponents. This is when Orange Cassidy was going nuts, and there was like 3, maybe 4 times here where legit I was like, I know Kenny's winning this match, but fuck, Orange Cassidy can win this. Oh, he almost won this. And he went nuts here. Callis is getting pissed on commentary because Orange Cassidy had almost won this match twice now. Orange hits the beach break on Pac. And as he goes for the pin, Orange Cassidy, that is, well, Don pulls the referee out of the ring. And this is when this match got overbooked. Orange went to the top and fought off Omega, but Pac caught him with a diving DDT and locked on the Brutalizer. Omega tried to break up the hold, kicking Pac in the head. Omega kicked him like 3 times, and Pac no-sold it. So Omega just attacked the referee, so that way, in case Orange Cassidy tapped, he couldn't call for the finish. Yeah, he fucking basically just elbow right on the knee, on the referee. Beat the ref down. And this is when him and Dawn started their bullshit. So Omega came out with all the belts. And so Dawn were handing him the belts one by one to hit his opponents with them. And he did it. And I'm like, what the bloody hell? Why do we need this? We saw it in the fucking women's world title match, the belt shot. We didn't need it in 2 different matches. We didn't need this in 2 different matches. So he laid out Pac with his belts. Orange popped up and took out Omega with an orange punch. Aubrey Edwards then ran in like a house of fire to try to count the pin, but Omega kicked out at the last possible moment. He then locked on a crucifix pin, rolling up Orange. 1, 2, 3. Omega retains the world championship. With that, Kenny Omega is still the AEW world champion. I forgot to mention earlier in the night, we got the announcement September 5th in Chicago, All Out. We also got the announcement November 6th in St. Louis, Full Gear. Tony Schiavone then says, well, you may or you may not know, we've got a new show coming on Friday nights called AEW Rampage. With that, we have signed a new analyst for that show. Didn't say what that really means. I assume commentary, but they didn't fully say. He then stalled for a couple seconds. He's going, I'm now going to announce this new analyst. Being the new analyst for AEW Rampage is none other than the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. He then stated that we will hear from Mark Henry this Friday on AEW Dynamite. Speaking of Dynamite, multiple matches were announced. Dustin Rhodes will take on Nick Comoroto in a bull rope match. Young Bucks will take on the team of Pac and Penta El Zero Miedo. Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson will take on the team of QT Marshall and Anthony Ogogo, which is weird because QT had to be replaced in the Battle Royal tonight. Like, if he couldn't work a Battle Royal, or you can literally have him come out and get eliminated quick and not have to do much, how's he going to work this fucking tag match? And finally, we will get the championship celebration of Britt Baker, DMD. I mean, yes, Vegeta, technically, belt shots are legal in a no DQ. Which, again, why did they have to do it behind the referee's back? I get why Omega took out the referee, just in case Orange tapped. But they still could have done that spot if they didn't take the ref spot out. Which, again, we got belt shots in 2 different title matches, and I didn't like that. This show, or this match, last 5 to 7 minutes, way too overbooked. Way too much shit happened. Speaking of the world title, in 2 weeks, Kenny Omega will defend the AEW World Heavyweight Championship against the winner of the Casino Battle Royale, Jungle Boy. Hey, C-Money, who said he won't wrestle? How do you know Mark Henry's not going to wrestle? Fucking Paul White, Big Show, he said he wants to wrestle at least 1 match for AEW. Mark Henry can do the same. Who knows? Then, we got the Stadium Stampede. And boy, I was bored through all of it. So, white limo pulls up into the empty arena. Yeah, full capacity crowd in an empty arena match. What? Anyways. MJF gets out and starts yelling, where are you at? Come on, Chris. Inner Circle, where are you at? And the fucking Inner Circle rappels down to the scoreboard, the big screen in the TIA Bank Stadium. Pretty badass. We then hear the overlay. Now, remember, this was half taped, half live. We hear an overlay of the live crowd singing Jericho's song. As the inner circle started to run at MJF, he jumped back in the limo, slammed the door, locked the door. They're all banging on the limo. Get out, get out, get out. And then a truck, the FTR truck, pulls up with the rest of the Pinnacle, and the brawl ensues. There was a ring in the middle of the football field, just like we saw last year. Guevara and Spears wrestled around it, with Guevara missing a shooting star press and running into a blue thunder bomb from Spears. MJF finally emerged from the limo, but Jericho was right there, just standing at the door waiting, right at the trunk. Two teed off. Notably, Jericho had his cast and arm brace on. MJF escaped using a fire extinguisher, but Jericho was in hot pursuit. Jericho and MJF brawled in some offices, with Jericho stuffing MJF in a trash can. MJF threw hot coffee in Jericho's face and attacked him with a telephone. Jericho screamed in MJF's face with a megaphone and hit him with a sheet pan. He brawled into another office, which contained Jacksonville Jaguars head coach Urban Myers and assistant coach Charlie Strong. Myers handed Jericho a laptop, which Jericho just lightly kind of smashed over MJF's head. He then pushed MJF over some stairs and through a table. Holy shit, Chance. Well, not Chance, but Urban Myers like, holy shit. MJF then crawled up to the film room as Jericho pushed him outside. Cameras cut, and Hager and Wardlow were going to blows, the big old Haas boys. Brawled backstage as Wardlow tried to lock Hager in a walk-in freezer. Wardlow smashed plastic containers over Hager's head as they brawled into the freezer. Hager gained the advantage by locking on a head and arm choke. Wardlow avoided an attack and drove Hager repeatedly into a cabinet. Hager threw defiant double birds at Wardlow, so Wardlow tackled him through a wall. Guevara was looking for Spears, who was in a giant room full of chairs. They said, the chairman found his spot. They found his favorite room. They fought with chairs until Guevara landed a Superman punch. Spears came back with a seated knee lift. In a nice spot, Guevara backflipped out of an attack, using the wall to help him before hitting a thrust kick on top of a forklift. Spears caught a crossbody and lawn darted Guevara into a garage door. Spears looked at a selection of weapons, opting, of course, for the chair. But Guevara surprised him and drove him into the scissor lift. They both went for electric cords, but Guevara getting the advantage and choking out Spears. Guevara climbed some shelves and looked down for a big dive, but Spears moved and caught him with a ladder. Spears pulled out some handcuffs and cuffed Guevara to some shelves, but he found bolt cutters really, really quickly. Conveniently, he was locked next to bolt cutters. Got his way free. And then I didn't like this at all. So Santana and Ortiz enter this bar, and they're looking for Tully, and they're looking for FTR, and they start beating up random people in the bar. Santana and Ortiz are breaking bottles over guys' heads. And then, these fuckers are in a blood feud, and they stop. And the five of them take their time to all have commemoratory shots together. Like, what? You guys are in a blood feud. Pinnacle is trying to end the inner circle forever. But you say, it's all good. We'll just drink some whiskey together, or whatever they were drinking. So stupid. Then all of a sudden they stop, look up at the DJ, and it's fucking Conan. Cool. It's Conan. But why are you guys taking shots together? What? So dumb. So dumb. Where was I? Two teams began to brawl. A trash can lid shot from Santana on Harwood got a 2. Foley was about to attack Santana with a pull cue, and Conan intervened. The two teams brawled once again. Ortiz beat down Harwood but he was interrupted by Wheeler, who pelted him with bottles. Santana entered the fray and pushed Wheeler into an elevator where they brawled as the door closed. Actually, I don't think we saw any of them again. Back to Wardlow and Hager. Wardlow had control. Hager used a tackling dummy to surprise Wardlow, but Wardlow hopped on top of an ATV and brought Hager up with him. Hager then hit a low blow up top and chokeslammed Wardlow through some shelves. Jericho and MJF continued to brawl in the offices. MJF accidentally punched a cardboard cutout of Shad Khan, but sold it like death as Jericho used it as a weapon. MJF hid in some offices and was able to attack Jericho's arm, his injured arm, real injury. Jericho is really injured. Jericho grabbed a stapler and stapled a thank you message to MJF's forehead. MJF came back with the right hand and hit a pile driver on Jericho on a legit table, a hard office table. Jericho kicked out. MJF picked up a hammer and was about to whack Jericho's injured arm with it, but Jericho surprised him with a trash can shot. Jericho grabbed Floyd the Bat from a cabinet and smacked MJF with it before tossing him through a glass door. I think it was Tony Schiavone then said, "Good thing tomorrow's a holiday. No one's going to be at work and someone can come in and clean all this up." Spears was happy with his handiwork, but was chased off by the Inner Circle Motorcycle Club. Remember, Spears still thinks that Sammy is handcuffed. We then finally go to live action as Jericho pulled MJF through the live crowd. MJF was busted open here. Jericho then dropped MJF groin first on top of a railing. MJF came back and was about to dump Jericho off a high, elevated balcony, I guess you can call it. But Jericho hit him with a spotlight. He then powerbombed MJF through a structure as the crowd came alive. Guevara then pursued Spears in a golf cart as the tables were turned from last year. He hit Spears flush back into the ringside area, which was a great moment. They brawled to the ring where Spears cut off a springboard attempt with a chair shot. Spears told Guevara, "You should have stayed down," but Guevara gave him a middle finger. Spears then crushed Guevara with a chair shot for a good near fall. Spears then stuck a chair in the corner, but Guevara countered the shot with the GTH. He then did the little curb stomp into the chair in the corner deal that Spears did to him previously. Guevara then climbed to the top rope, hit a 630, and pinned Shawn Spears to pick up the victory. The Inner Circle celebrate. Judas plays loudly across Daly's place. Crowd goes wild, and the show goes off the air. With that, guys, that was AEW Double or Nothing. Overall, I thought it was a good show. I feel like the women's world title match was not as good as I was expecting. A few matches did go a little longer than they should have. But again, overall, this was a really good show. I forgot to throw up a poll. My bad. Let's go to the text messages. Remember, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. We have a couple text messages here. First says, "I loved Double or Nothing. I thought it was great. What match do you think was great?" Mine was the women's title. Yeah, no, I didn't like the women's title match. I thought it wasn't a good match. It was maybe good. I wouldn't even barely call it that. But what match did I like the most? That's tough. Probably the tag title match. I would almost say the world title, but again, that last 5 to 7 minutes really was just no. No. Okay, this text says, just when I think WWE does something dumb, AEW does something way better, putting on a great show and a great pay-per-view. What did the two sides have to do with anything? What does WWE doing something dumb have to do with AEW putting on a good show? That makes no sense at all. Cody's not booking himself like Super Cena. He's booking himself like fucking Hulk Hogan. Person says, do you see Jungle Boy as a future AEW World Heavyweight Champion? Yes, but not right now. Maybe in 3-4 years, but not right now. Just like MJF. He'll be a future world champion, maybe in a year and a half, 2 years. Not right now. And we got one more text message here. Let me load this. Well, it's kind of the same question. Any chance Jungle Boy does win the world title from Kenny Omega in 2 weeks? Not a chance. Not a bloody chance. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, we will be live tomorrow night for Friday Night SmackDown. Remember to follow us on... No, tomorrow's not Friday Night SmackDown. Tomorrow's Monday Night Raw. Remember to follow us on social media. Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Follow us on Twitter @PW Unlimited. Find us on Patreon. Patreon.com/PW Unlimited. And check out our website, pwunlimited.co. So with that, again, we will be live tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw. Have a good night, and I'll see you next time. All right, if you're still watching